Did the Chicago Bulls find a couple of gems in Adama Sanogo and Julian Phillips? We'll talk about that. And should we be concerned about Dalen Terry's play on today's episode of the Windy City Breeze Sports Talk Daily? Let's go. Now, if you are new to the channel, please like the video. Please subscribe to the page, man. We do talk Chicago sports daily on this channel. It's the only channel talking Chicago sports, how Chicago talks. So make sure that you get in tune with us, man. Like I said before, only 50% of you guys subbed right now. So let's get those numbers up. So Chicago Bulls had their third summer league game versus the Sacramento Kings last night, and we saw a little bit of something that I think might have caught Bulls fans by surprise. No, not Julian Phillips' defense, but his ability to shoot the three ball. He is shooting that basketball with confidence. He is releasing that ball. It looks like a perfect shot to me. Everybody was so concerned about his jump shot coming into this season, right? And it was, oh my goodness, how can we draft a guy who had 24 air balls in college, whatever it was, right? But we're not looking at the circumstances of the young man. I told you guys coming into this season that I thought that Julian Phillips just wasn't asked to shoot shots. And when you're not asked to do something, you usually tend not to be prepared to do it. I know that we have this belief of like, oh, we got to have the, what's it called? We got to always be ready to make the play and do it. And it's just not realistic. Listen, most guys aren't always ready just to take a shot if that's the only shot that you get. Didn't take a ton of threes in college, took a lot more threes in high school his last few years in AAU and stuff like that, and he could shoot then. So now we're seeing that kind of transpire, kind of play itself out. I think that he is absolutely a nice little piece that the Bulls can get. I was a little concerned early on in that game when you saw him pick up those two fouls quickly. In a real scenario or a real sense, I do believe that he probably would have been on the bench in that situation, but you got to allow these guys to start to work through things. Got to allow these guys to kind of play through some of their issues. I love what we saw with Julian Phillips. Would I call him a gem just yet? It's summer league, right? Like I'm not going to sit here and tell you that the Chicago Bulls found the next best thing off of one game of summer league where he got hot. But what I will tell you is for a 19-year-old kid to get into a game in that position, he absolutely did what he said he wanted to do, and he bounced back in his next outing. That's what you got to do. You're going to have bad times out. You're going to have bad showings. Guess what? What are you going to do the next time out? Next time out, he came out and showed out, had 16 points, did a good job on the boards. He does have the bounce, by the way, as well. I don't know if y'all saw that dunk that he did, but he's absolutely got the bounce. I have to give him 110% credit on having the bounce. Another guy, let me know how you guys feel in the comments below. By the way, I'll be down there talking with you as well. Do you believe that Julian Phillips is a hidden gem? I don't know if I'll call him a gem just yet, but I do believe that he will be a player that probably sees some time based on his defensive ability in this season. The next guy is Adama Sanogo, right? He, to me, could be a hidden gem. I really loved what Adama Sanogo did yesterday and the last 2 days, right? To me, when I look at his game right now, just a guy coming out of college who continually improved himself. Remember that last year at UConn when he ends up winning the national championship, he's the MVP of the whole freaking tournament. 17 points per game. He was 7 rebounds a game, and he was 0.8 blocks. The season before, he was almost 2 blocks a game. Role changed a little bit in there. You can't, be going after blocks when you're the leading scorer, or you're the main scorer that the team needs you to be out there. I really thought that he was an undrafted gem. I don't know why teams didn't go after him. If it's simply because of the jump shot, that's just idiotic to me, because I see Adama Sanogo, even in those summer league games, as an absolute gem because of the way that he's able to be aggressive around the rim, how he goes up and snatches the boards. I'm glad that the Bulls were able to sign him to a 2-way deal. That means he gets 50 games with the Bulls this season before they have to put him on a full contract. Don't be surprised if you see this young man end up playing a good portion of minutes off of the bench. bench, 6'9", which is right in there with that small ball big that Billy Donovan loves to run out there. I think that he's a really good asset off of both Vooch and Andre Drummond. If they're out there, I think he can play some 4, absolutely can play some small ball 5 for you. I don't know if he's going to get in a ton of games this season, but I do think moving forward, right, he reminds me of a guy who just can be the setup man. I love how he passes out of the post. I love his back to the basket game, got a nice little floater, and I really think that we've seen all of that on display this summer league, and we're continuing to see that go forward, and we'll continue to see that going forward. So for me, I love the game of Adama Sanogo. I think that he's really a diamond in the rough that the Bulls got here, and he just continues to prove that. Everybody was really down on him on that first game. Little slow reactionary defensively. I will give you that. He's been a little slow reactionary, but outside of that, I really think that he brings a really nice game to the Chicago Bulls, and something that they need in the rebounding game. And I think he also helps on the interior defensively and down in the post passing out of there. So let me know how you guys feel about both of those guys. How do you feel they played in summer league? I'll be down in the comments talking with you guys as well. Let's go into the part where, you know, everybody is kind of concerned right now, because y'all know I come in hype on the Terry time. Terry time. It hasn't been Terry time. I've gone back and rewatched some of the summer league games because a lot of people have been very down on Dalen Terry because the offense hasn't been there. I think everything else has been there, though. And to me, when I look at Dalen Terry's game, am I looking for Dalen Terry to be instant offense this season? I don't want Dalen Terry to come in and just be Lonzo Ball shooting 40% from 3 right now. Like, at some point, would that be great? 100%. But that's not what I need from him right now. What I need is a guy who can come off of the bench, bring energy, bring defense, bring facilitating ability. Now, the one thing that I don't like, and I said this yesterday during the live call as well, his passes seem like they're like long arm passes. Like, y'all know what I'm talking about if you hoop, right? When somebody long arms a pass, when like you don't flick your wrist to throw the pass, like you're putting your whole body into it, you're throwing it with your arm, and I feel like that telegraphs the pass. I feel like that it's allowing him to throw more turnovers. He's trying to thread the needle. He's a guy who's going to gamble on those. We saw some of those passes get through. He did end up in that game, I believe, with 6 assists that last game, 7 assists, I'm sorry, in that last game, but he still had the 4 turnovers, right? So we saw some of those get through, but you got to cut down on the turnovers at the end of that. I like what Dalen Terry can become, and I think that right now, what you're asking of Dalen Terry to be is facilitating and defense. I need you to cut down on the turnovers, 100%. We don't need, 1.5 to 1 ratio basically on turnovers to assists. But I would love to see him continue what we've seen from him on the defensive end. He's being aggressive. He's out there getting after guys. He's guarding 1 through 3, some 4 as well. I love how he's closing out to the bucket. I love how he's starting off the transition. Dalen Terry in transition might be his best attribute right now. And he's an energy guy at this moment, right? He's the guy that's going to bring that fire to the court, that Pat Bev type of mentality that, we're going out here and we're going to have that dog mentality no matter what. I'm not worried about Dalen right now because he's going to be here, right? 18th overall pick. It's not like you're moving on from Dalen. You're going to hopefully see what this kid has. And again, this is summer league. All of this is caveated with summer league at the end of the day, right? Like, nobody's sitting here telling you that, oh my God, this is it. I'm gonna be honest with you, and there are some people that are doing this. Actually, I'm not gonna say that, and I get it, right? Like, most of the teams we've seen with their second-year players is we're putting them out there. He cooks some guys real quick, and then you put him back on the bench. But to me, Dalen Terry is not a normal second-year player because he didn't play his first year. You didn't see him on an NBA court his first year, so I'm not gonna hold him to second-year player standards when you're the team that needs to be in charge of his development and his player development. He's the one who went to the Chicago Bulls and said, hey, send me down to the G League. I want to play. I need more development in the system, right? He's the guy who said that, not Billy Donovan. Billy Donovan didn't go to him and say, we're going to send you down. He asked so that he could play and he could get into the system and find his role on this team. And so for me, like, I see what Dalen is already improving at as far as defensive facilitating. The offense is going to have to come. But you know what? It's the same thing that I said about Zach LaVine last season when Zach LaVine wasn't shooting the ball well. And I'm going to hold Dalen Terry to I try to hold most players to the same standards, except Zach makes like $40 million more than he does. But I try to hold most players to the same standards when it comes to offense comes and goes. How many guys have we seen go into shooting slumps that can score? Right? How many guys? I mean, count the guys. We've seen almost every player in history has gone through a scoring slump. And I'm not saying that Dalen's right in a slump right now, but the shot don't look great. It doesn't look good at all. I'm not going to lie to you. And maybe it's because of the pressure of trying to prove that you can shoot. But can you do the other things if the shot isn't there? Can you play on the defensive end? Can you facilitate? Can you get other guys open? Can you create plays where other guys can be effective on the offensive end? That was my issue with Kobe White 2 years ago when I looked at Kobe White and I was like, if he's not scoring, he's literally useless on the basketball court. He doesn't defend well. He doesn't get out in transition well. He does nothing well. Coming into last season, that entire thing changed for me. Kobe White was a better defender last season, did a better job getting his teammates involved, did a better job finding open shots, even when the shot kind of waned a little bit early in the season and then a little bit towards the end of the season as well, right? Like you sat there and you were like, oh snap, but he still be able to go out there and give you contribution. There was one game me and Hayes talked about. I think Kobe shot like 1 for 13. He was horrible, but we looked at, he had a key steal, ended up with a block in there, was playing some really good one-on-one defense. I want to say it was versus Washington toward the end of the season, something like that. But like you have to be able to do all of those things. Can you be a complete basketball player? I think that Dalen Terry can be that. And so I'm not overly concerned about what Dalen Terry is going to be. Just turning 21 today, or yesterday, I believe, which is crazy. Be careful out there, Dalen. Don't do too much out there, my boy. But just turning 21 out in Vegas, man. I'm not overly concerned on what Dalen Terry can be. What I am concerned about is that shot going to start to get more efficient. But like I said yesterday on Locked On Bulls, I watched Lonzo Ball learn to shoot. I want to see somebody that couldn't shoot. I watched Lonzo Ball learn to shoot. I've watched RJ Barrett learn to shoot. You can learn to shoot. That jump shot still needs some work. Hopefully with the new head of player development in here and Peter Patton, he will be able to get a little more of that jump shot to fall. And I've watched that. I'm okay with that. I'm fine with seeing Dalen Terry have things in his game that he needs to work on. I know in this offensive NBA, everybody's like, well, he has no offense, so he's useless on a basketball court. It's just not true. Just not true. It's an idiotic statement to say if a guy can't score consistently, he doesn't have a use on the basketball court, especially a guy like Dalen Terry, who literally the one thing that we wanted him to do coming in here is be a similar facilitator like he was in college with Ben Mathurin, being able to find Ben Mathurin open. So we'll see what it all ends up being, man. Hopefully Dalen can find that shot, but I'm not overly concerned with it. It is Summer League, ladies and gentlemen. There's a long way to the season. I am okay with what Dalen Terry is at this point. And I'm excited about what Julian Phillips and Adama Sanogo can be. But I do want to know how you guys feel, man. Let me know in the comments below. I'll be down there talking with you as well. As always, it's your boy, Pat the Designer, back at it again to continue watching our Chicago Bulls content. Click the links on the screen or check the links in the description below. And of course, if you're only here for Bulls content, go check everything out over on the Chicago Bulls Breeze. As always, y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. One love. Peace. Oh, that's the wrong button.